The film is set in a small, isolated village called Covington, where people still live simple, primitive lives. As the village is secluded from the rest of the world, it often leads to the deaths of villagers because they do not have a proper medication or healthcare system. People do not go outside the village as there's a legend that supernatural creatures exist in the wood, and there's a treaty between them and the villagers. They do not come to the valley, and the villagers do not cross their borders. But the situation is unacceptable for a guy named Lucius, and he thinks he should cross the woods to get the medication from the modern world. But the elders do not allow him to go, as they think it will break the truce. The villagers call these creatures those we don't speak of. Some animals have been killed in the village, which leaves them curious about the culprit, but they don't think the monsters have breached their borders. Instead, they suspect it's maybe some kind of wolves that are responsible for the attacks. A girl named Alice loves Lucius and tells her father, Edward Walker, about it, but accepts that she hasn't talked to Lucius about it yet. Upon her father's suggestion, Alice confesses her love for Lucius, but he does not accept it, to which she goes back to her house and cries for him, but her parents can't do anything for her. There is a mentally challenged guy named Noah who often beats other boys, but no one can stop him except Ivy, the blind sister of Alice. He has feelings for her and does exactly as she says. She and Noah meet Lucius one day, where she tells him about her sister and says she cried a lot for him. He does not reply, to which she reveals that she knows he has feelings for her, but doesn't want anyone else to know. Noah brings some berries for Ivy, but Lucius asks her to be cautious, as they are red, and villagers do not use that color because it attracts the monsters. Lucius realizes these berries don't exist in the valley, and when he asks Noah about it, he leads him to the woods. After realizing that Noah has been in the woods multiple times and came back unhurt, Lucius again requests the elders to let him cross the woods because he believes these creatures won't hurt him when they sense his intentions are pure and he doesn't want to hurt anyone. Upon seeing that Lucius is not stepping back on his intentions to cross the woods, his mother tells him about his father's mysterious death and says they should be careful. When Lucius asks about a sealed box in the house, his mother says it has things to remind her of bad things that happened to her, but he does not believe her because he knows these boxes are in every house in the village. He thinks that the elders of the village have some secrets hidden from the youngsters, but his mother does not agree. Lucius meets Ivy and tells her of his intention of going into town, but just like others, she's not in favor of him crossing the woods. Whenever the villagers come across these creatures, they all run to the safe underground cellars they have built for safety. One night, when the bell rings to instruct the villagers to go to these cellars, Lucius comes to Ivy's house to ensure her safety, and she realizes he also has feelings for her. The next day, the villagers find red marks on the doors and think one of them may have breached the borders because these creatures do not come to their land without feeling threatened. In the meeting of elders, they receive a note from Lucius who confesses that he's responsible for it because he has crossed the forbidden line. Alice finds another guy and gets married to him. During the wedding ceremony, as they all enjoy their time, suddenly they hear someone screaming, and two young boys inform Ivy's Edward that they saw these creatures and they have left more warnings for the villagers. Soon the wedding ceremony ends in chaos as they realize all the animals have been killed and skinned by the monsters. At night, when Ivy finds Lucius on her porch, she realizes he's there to ensure her safety, and she finally accepts his love for her. Ivy thinks this might hurt Alice, but she's happy for her sister and wishes her the best for her life. An inquiry meeting is held by the elders to find out who breached the borders this time, but they can't find the culprit. When Noah finds out about Ivy and Lucius, he stabs him, leaving him badly injured and close to death. After seeing the blood on Noah's hands and clothes, the villagers ask everyone if he hurt someone. Ivy finds out it's Lucius. Due to the lack of medical care in the village, people think he will die soon, but they can't do anything except pray for him. Ivy visits Noah, who has been kept in an isolated room as a punishment, and slaps him before being taken away by Noah's father. She can't let Lucius die, so she asks permission from her father to go to the towns and get medicine for him. Ivy is allowed to travel through the Covington woods to fetch medicine for Lucius, Before leaving, her father reveals the biggest secret of the village. He takes her to a prohibited shed and tells her that these creatures do not exist, but it's a lie the elders have created to keep the village secluded from the world. He shows her the costumes he and other elders sometimes wear to pretend they are these monsters, and further tells her they have created the mysterious sounds villagers often hear. He says the elders have made this decision a long time ago, because they did not want the world to know about their town, nor did they want anyone to leave. The elders are not happy with his decision of letting Ivy go, but he explains that he did it for their future, and it was the right thing to do because he doesn't want to be guilty of not helping Lucius when he could. They finally agree with him, hoping she would find her way and won't tell anyone about the town and will protect their secret. She and 2 other men, Finton and Kristoff, start the journey, but Kristoff is too scared to go, although Ivy tells him they would be safe because they are wearing the safe color, and her father gave her the magic rocks that will protect them, but he doesn't believe it and leaves. Finton also gets scared and leaves her alone in the woods. She gets scared by the howling at night and even falls after stumbling over some tree branches, but continues her journey through all the hardships. She gets scared when she hears sounds in the woods, as she remembers her father saying, though these creatures don't exist, there were rumors about monsters in the woods. She gets attacked by one of these monsters, but manages to escape after tricking it to fall into a mud hole. Soon it's revealed that it was Noah who escaped from the isolated room after stealing one of the costumes of his parents. Back at her house, Ivy's parents open the sealed box, and it contains pictures of the elders. It is revealed they all used to live in the towns, but after facing a lot of crimes and deaths of their loved ones, decided to create a safe place for them and their children. Ivy finds the hidden road, as told by her father, and meets the ranger Kevin there, who is surprised after knowing she came from the woods. She pulls out the paper and asks him to find the medicine written on. She also gives him a pendant as payment. The guy named Kevin does not believe her and hesitates to help her, but soon he realizes she's telling the truth. When he comes back to the office, his superior warns him about the perimeters and tells him that no one is allowed to go behind the protective boundary. He further says that some people have asked permission for the government to make the area a no-fly zone. Kevin gets the medicine for Ivy and helps her to go back to the Covington woods. A guy informs the elders about Ivy's return and tells them she was attacked by a creature but killed it. Noah's parents cry as they know it was him. Edward says they will find his body and bury him, but they will tell others he's been killed by the creatures because they don't want anyone to know the truth. All elders, including Noah's parents, agree with him, as they want to keep the place safe and hidden from the world.